Hello, my name is RShipwash, and I have been tasked with designing and implementing a new mechanic into this tile-based game project, Tournamental. The mechanic that I am introducing is called Crushing Block, and to display what it is and how it functions, let's jump into level. All right, as you can see throughout the level, there are multiple blocks moving in an up and down pattern. This is the crushing block mechanic that I have designed and implemented into this project. Um, the speed that it is currently set at gives the player a sense of avoidance and anxiety. This way, it will make it where they have to plan their movements accordingly. As this first block right here, you have to move up and then you have to move to the left in a quick motion without being hit by the block, as I'll demonstrate here. Okay, we made it through. Now let's keep going. The player can use the crushing block to you are able to push the interactables underneath the crushing block, which it will destroy it, so the player can gain passageway through them. Um, as I push it underneath, it will get destroyed, and it will allow me to pass underneath, um, as we did. Let's continue. This part right here, you have to go underneath and oh, see, and we have died. This is another part of the mechanic in which once the crushing block kills you, it will prompt you with a splash screen that says that you have died, in which it will delay for a few seconds, telling you that, and then it will restart the game from the very beginning, allowing you to restart the level. Once the player reaches the end, it will complete the level, and it will move on to the next section. Now let's jump into the function of it and the code. Now that the editor is open, let's dive in and see how this was created and how it is implemented with the functions. So let's open up the content drawer. First off, when I started to create this, I wanted to create the static mesh of it. I started with a simple block, and then it evolved into the crushing block that it is now static mesh. This static mesh does have a collision complexity of simple and complex, while having a simple collision box around it. Okay, so once I created that, I went to the blueprints folder that has the tiles blueprints. I created a child blueprint class of the tile, the parent of it. And once I created that, I named it tile underscore crushing block so I can identify which blueprint I am working on and what my tile is named. Let's open that up. So first, when I created this, let's go to the viewport. When I created this, I added a plane to it. This way I can have the color, so I can set the color of the floor to match the floor of the walkable space. This allows for seamless visibility. It is the brick material instance. Once I had the material instance chose for that, I created I added a static mesh. I brought that in, and I chose my crushing block that I created. I also have a collision box on the around it. This is just a simple collision box collision. I added that and added it around it. I have the box nesting underneath the crushing block static mesh, and we'll go from there. Let's hop into the event graph. In the event graph, I wanted to create the movement of the block going up and down first. and then a little bit later, I worked on getting it to destroy the actor. Um, so what I did, I created a timeline, and the timeline is only 1 second long. You can choose whatever variable you want here. Mine only goes up. Mine goes up a quarter of a second, stays up for half, and then comes back down a quarter of a second. This is currently on an autoplay and a loop, so that it's a continuous play as soon as the game begins. From there, I created two vector lerps. One is for the static mesh. The other one is for the box collision. Each one on this, each the static mesh is on a different axis than the box collision, and this allows me to set it to where it needs to be with the appropriate location. With that, I moved it up 110 degrees. That way, the player can pass underneath it or an interactable. This allows it to continue to go up and down and set the relative location. Next, I wanted to create it so that it can destroy an interactable or a player. To do that, I needed to set the tile to generate overlap events while the level is streaming. This I was able to pull from the actual tile parent, and I just made that true. Next, I chose to do the switch on tile object type. This allows the tile to distinguish if the player is enters the tile or an interactable. When the interactable enters the tile, the tile distinguishes it and it casts it to the interactable box. And once I do that, you can't actually destroy the actor without destroying the tile itself. So what I did was I set the actor hidden in game. This makes it where you are not able to see it when you are playing the game. It created a delay and then it updated the tile. And then I set it to enter. This allows it so that when the player is, even though the box is hidden, it wouldn't allow you to enter it unless you set it, update the tile and set it. So this way you are able to pass through even though the box is invisible on the tile. Once the player enters the tile, it disables your input. This is once the player enters the tile, if the player is hit by the block, the all inputs are disabled. And then once that happens, I created a death screen widget, which it casts to it, which I will show you the widget in just a second. It then sends it to the viewport, so it can display it. It delays it for 2 seconds. It casts, and then what it does, it casts to the BP tile game so it can pull the node reset map. Once that, and what this does, it resets it back to the very beginning of your level. And then it will enable your input once again. Now let's go back to the content drawer so that we can find that interface, the UI. Let's open that up, and I created a death screen. Let's open that up, and all it is a black background that has red text on it that says you have died. This mechanic was greatly inspired by the Super Mario Thwomp. I just love the idea of having to traverse a level while having to avoid something that will punish the player if they are not skilled enough to be able to get through the area before they are crushed by an object. But I do believe that is it. Thank you very much.